welcome back to the Corporate Burnouts. Hey, Mandy, how are you?
Doing so good. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. I got new internet today, so hopefully doing really
Yes.
good.
Yes. I'm going to download faster.
Yep,
Maybe your computer is part of the problem, but
that's the plan. Yeah, we're
yes.
going to download faster. I'm going to claim it now, but we'll see if that's what
Yeah.
turns out to happen.
It's exciting. Well, I'm excited about that. What else has been going on besides new internet?
Oh, gosh, I got a kiddo trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life and where we're going to go to college, and another one started work. So that's
Yeah.
fun. Two kids working.
Mm-hmm.
Is
That
real
is exciting.
nice. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Chase and I are going to LA this weekend, so that's gonna be
So much fun
fun.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots going on.
Well, I just celebrated my birthday, so that was really fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You wanna tell everybody how old you are?
Yes, I'm 43 years old.
You're finally the same age as me
I
again.
know. We're only not the same age for a couple months every year, but
I know, but I don't
um
like those couple months.
I know. I know. So my mom came down for the weekend to celebrate, and so my nephew Julian, his birthday is 2 days after mine. 2 days and 31 years. And
Right?
and we so we had a dinner and we did presents and we had a good time. And then we had a swim meet, the kind of what's equivalent to swim regionals
Yeah.
for Samantha. And so we did that. And then we went and had sushi and celebrated with the family. It was so good. So I'm
Good.
happy. I'm happy. I love birthdays.
It's funny
They're
how
over.
birthdays change the older you get. Like, now I'm
Hmm.
just grateful to get one.
Yeah.
I don't really care how we celebrate it, but I'm
Hmm.
just happy to be here, I guess.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that is the good that is a good thing. We had a offline conversation um about life expectancy and all that stuff the other day that was a little sad. We won't bring that onto this podcast, but
No, no,
um
no morbid conversations here.
I still, besides when I like squat down or do something with my knees, I still feel really young. So I feel good about it. But
Yeah, I think for me it's my back and my hips.
mhm.
I sit Indian style or, like with
Yeah.
my legs up a lot, and my hips are starting to tell me about it, and I
Mhm.
make fun of Chase because he likes a really hard bed. Like,
Yeah.
laying on his bed is like plywood.
It's a deal
And
breaker.
yeah, so
For
I'm
me,
like,
it would be.
yeah, I'm like, this is a big problem for me because this is so uncomfortable. But I got to
Mhm.
tell you, my back is really appreciating it. And so now I'm like,
Mm.
I think you might have been right about something. And I don't really like that because it's not
No,
comfortable, but I don't
no,
hurt.
right. So that is something, and obviously we grew up wanting the softest bed possible because you always just want to be the most comfortable. But no, it isn't good for your body to
Hmm.
not or to be all loosey goosey in the bed, right? So, ew, I hate that. Where I'll just be sore all day. I don't think that I
Right?
can. I sleep more than I'm awake almost. So no, not really.
Yeah. No, I'm
Um.
sleeping way better on the hard mattress.
Mhm.
And I changed out my bed. So, like, I still have the same mattress at my house,
Mhm.
but I swapped beds
Yeah.
with my mom.
Mhm.
Sounds weird, but
Yeah.
swapped beds, and it's actually a lot more firm now than it was before just putting it on a different frame, and so I'm
Mm.
sleeping better at home too, which is great.
Okay.
Not as
Yeah, that's
comfortable, but great.
no, no, that's very interesting. I'm not willing to try that out yet, but either way.
It's fair, give it another couple years, you
I
might see
know.
it that way.
I know. All right, let's stop talking about being old
Oh.
and move into the future. So today, let's just launch into this conversation about AI.
Yeah,
Just to preface all of this, we have been using AI for quite some time. It is really helpful in the business. It is really helpful personally. It's really helpful. But there's a lot going on, a lot of people talking about AI and a lot of people using it for good, using it for bad.
yeah, lots that
And
I'm hearing that I'm not loving.
no, and we just wanted to talk about it because it is a hot topic, but it's affecting the job market. It's affecting how people are hired. It's affecting layoffs. It's affecting so much to do with your work life, but it's also affecting home life in some scenarios. And
Yeah, and I think that because it is affecting every aspect of our lives, there's no way it's not going to trickle over into work life, right?
mhm,
We use AI all the time, whether it's a creative jumpstart or, mostly with brainstorming, right? Like,
mhm,
I never want AI to write something and then I just copy and paste it because I feel
yeah,
like there's no like soul there. There's no there's no person behind the voice, and you can tell when something's written
right. But there are good
by
times to
AI.
use that. So, like, for instance, when you're trying to do something that you need, so for instance, the notes for our show,
Mhm.
okay? We need the notes for this show to accurately describe what we talked about. And we talk about a whole lot of things. So it's good to have the transcript to be able to
Yeah.
put in there and say, here, say what we talked about. So that if somebody just wants to read and see if they want to listen to the episode, then it's there. But also, a big part of the show notes is to work with SEO to get it in front of the right people. And when they search something that has to do with the podcast, so it's like, I'm okay with using AI to write all of that stuff because it's for computers. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's computer written to tell a computer who to show this to. That feels good to me, right? Like
Yeah.
that feels good to me. We do that for different things, for websites and for things because it's like all of that stuff is just to trick the computers
Yep. It's
into
speaking
showing.
Google's language. That's it.
Yes,
And
and
things like
we can't do
writing
that.
code,
Yeah.
I'm happy to let AI write a code for
Mhm.
me because I
Yes.
don't know how to write code. And I feel
Mm-mm.
so bad for all of those people that were told, while getting their education, learn to write code, learn to write code. Like this is now,
And they've been making two to $300,000 a year. I mean, it's been huge, but AI
right.
is gonna
And
wipe that
now
out.
it's
Mhm.
like I don't know if it hasn't yet, but I don't know why you would pay somebody that kind of money to do what you can to AI. You do have
Mhm.
to like tweak it sometimes and it doesn't always go exactly the first time. Just like with anything else, you can't 100% trust it. You've got to fact
Mhm.
check. You've got to,
Mhm.
you know, double check where it's coming from. But at the same time, it is such a time saver. It's been
Mhm.
really, really helpful for us. And I'm sure that there are a ton of businesses that use it in ways I haven't even thought of. I mean, I'm asking this
Yeah.
thing tax questions. I'm talking therapy with this thing. There's
Mhm.
the sky's the limit,
Mhm.
of what you can utilize AI for. I do find it interesting that lately in social media, what you're hearing about in AI is not positive. Even when there's something what seems to be harmless and trendy and fun going on, we're learning a lot more about the negative side of AI. And it's kind of got me at this like strange, I guess, crossroads, if you will, of like, are we doing more harm than good? It's
Mhm.
so great for me to have a kickstart for brainstorming to, be able to write a blog real quick and then, rework it a little bit so that it sounds human, but all the facts are on the paper. It's been really, really helpful in all that. But I'm hearing about how much water it's taking to cool these data centers.
Mhm.
What is that doing to our environment? That is wild. I'm hearing about the child photos that are being altered and there's no one monitoring or stopping any of this. And it doesn't matter that it's not real. It's
It
still
looks real.
like
Yeah,
we've crossed a line here,
to the creeps that just wanna see, you
Right.
know.
Yeah, it's enough for them.
Yes. Well, and that's where it gets scary. So, I wanted to chat through this and say, I think that there are a lot of good things to it, right? If you want computers to speak computer, it's perfect, right?
Yeah.
If you want to kick off a brainstorm or just I use it in place of Google now because it compiles everything that Google would have told you, but it makes it a lot more easy to digest as opposed to here, go into this article and read this, and then
Right.
you might get some more information. If I'm looking for a step by step on how to fix something on a computer, mostly on some kind of program, I always do that because, again, they would have so many different things and you had
Mhm.
to piece them together. So I'm loving that, but where it gets dangerous is the horrible things that it can do, like Grok now, showing undressed photos by just uploading a photo. That is terrifying. It's terrifying, right?
Mhm.
And then just the I don't know, little things like taking away your creativity, right? We had a conversation about that. I'm like, we don't use it to create pictures unless there's some sort of trend or something
Silly
funny.
stuff,
Right,
not
silly stuff like the
yeah.
Mattel dolls, we did that last year. And that's just funny, like it's a cutie little thing. But like in general, we're not making social media content on there, like
Mhm.
posts what the picture looks like. We aren't creating video from scratch. We're not, because that could be really creepy too when you put your picture and your voice and say, make this. It's like it's not like you at all. It
Yeah.
it doesn't have the same mannerisms or it's just odd. But we're not using it for that. But we are using it, and I think that there's starting to be a negative connotation to that because people are starting to see how it's negatively affecting our world.
Yes, absolutely, and we just had a situation with that just this last week with a client.
Mhm. Yep.
And you wanna
Yeah,
tell them
and
what happened with our
I can tell
fun,
the
trendy
story.
photo?
Yeah, we posted a fun trendy photo for a client and they got some backlash from their community, and what I love for them is that it was respectful backlash, if you will. It was we didn't expect this from you, and it was surprising. They were
Yeah.
surprised, we were surprised because it was adorable. The picture was adorable, you know? Like, it was
Yeah.
just a cutie little trend, and but it is really starting to skeeve people out, the what AI is represents at this point, and
Yeah. And the comments people were making were so valid, though. You know, when you
Mhm,
think about it, this company that we were working with is a very creative-based company.
mhm,
We are too in the world of marketing, so
mhm.
I kind of can't believe it hasn't dawned on me in this way before,
Yeah,
but some of their backlash was really about, like, AI is replacing so much creativity, and from a world of coming from a world of creatives, like, I can't believe you would utilize this, like, and it's like,
mhm.
wow, yeah, there's so much that AI can do, and I think that's just gonna keep getting better, right? It's gonna get stronger,
Or worse.
and well, it's gonna get better and it's gonna get worse. I mean, it's a double-edged sword, right?
Mhm,
I think it's kinda like with everything in life. Everything in life is not good and is not evil, but can
mhm,
be used either way. You know, when you
mhm.
open up the floodgates of all of this knowledge and power, you know, you can't say it's like, how do you put the parameters on what it can and can't be used for? Who's the moral compass? Because let's not act like our country has one right now.
Yeah, or the world in
Yeah,
general.
well, right, yeah.
Yeah, and so here's the deal. We learned a lot from that situation with our client. They learned a lot, and now it's something that we consider and think about.
Yeah.
And I think that this conversation is just going to get louder among people. Today at networking, someone stood up and said that they teach people how to use AI, like, and not just I'll show you how to get into Chat GPT or Gemini and use it as your new Google. It's like I will teach you how to make it speak like you and really function with your life, right? That is very interesting to a lot of people. But the second she said it, now that we've been through this situation with this client, I'm like, I wonder how many people are going to be having big feelings towards
Mhm.
her, like, and they shouldn't because this is a tool
Right.
that can be really helpful for people, but it's becoming more and more controversial. And
Yeah. And it
it's
is at a cost, right?
mhm,
Like, environmentally, we're learning there is a cost to having this resource. We're also learning creatively that the more you utilize it, the more we're kind of dependent on it. I've
Mhm.
noticed over the last couple of years, specifically over the last year, with Paisley taking a bunch of dual credit classes, they do a really great job of doing the AI checker on essays and stuff like that. That it doesn't just check the work, like, does it sound like AI? It literally tracks keystrokes. Like, they can tell if you copy and pasted it in there. It can tell, like, the cadence at which you were typing, where you
Mhm.
backspaced, all the things to see if you
Wow.
actually wrote an essay. And I love that because it is a big concern of mine that kids growing up with AI at their fingertips are they're utilizing it to learn, but they're also utilizing it in lieu of learning. And that
Mhm.
that is the concern. Paisley got through chemistry because of AI. Not throwing any shade, but her teacher and her were not speaking the same language. Her
Mhm.
teaching style and my daughter's learning style did not match up. So
Mhm.
she would take the lesson and come home and get on ChatGPT, and ChatGPT would teach her how to do what she was trying to do and did a better job explaining it to her in a way that she could understand than what she was getting in the classroom. And at the
Mhm.
time, I was like, "This is incredible. I wish I had had this when I was growing up." We had the entire
Yeah.
Encyclopedia Britannica. I didn't have this stuff at my fingertips. I literally had, like, the world's biggest collection of books to reference. So I was really kinda jealous of that, but at the
Mhm.
same time, I'm like, "Did she learn it, or did she,
So
like,
I
just
think in this
trying to
case,
get
she
through it?"
learned it. I think she probably learned it, right? Because she asked it to reteach her. She didn't say, "Do my homework for
Yeah,
me,"
no,
you
she
know?
didn't do that. She needed to learn how to pass the test for this information,
Yes.
so she did have to actually learn it, but,
So
you know,
I think that's a fair usage. What's not a fair usage
is
is
practice
when
essay for me.
well, and just like so, I don't know if you had any teachers. Dan talks about this that his teachers would be like, "You're not just gonna have a calculator in your pocket your whole life," but and he's
And it's
like,
like, "Yes, I am."
"Yes, I am." But he's like, "But I will watch teenagers and they won't even try and do easy math in their head, right? Because they've
Mhm.
always had this calculator in their hand, right?
Yep.
And while that's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things, I think that this is a magnifying glass on that feeling
Yeah.
because it's you don't have to think, and it's at least when you're googling you have to do a little bit of research, you have to read a few things. You have to see what makes the most sense. But if you get in the habit of believing ChatGPT and then you go, okay, tell me how this works, and you always have that immediate answer and you don't have to work for it, I think that it
It can
further,
make us dumber.
well,
I
it can
mean,
make us
truly.
dumber because you don't have to retain anything because you never learned it, right?
Well,
But I
because
think
there's muscles you're not utilizing
mhm.
anymore,
Yes. Yeah, because
right?
you don't have to
Like,
think about anything, but
it's like
I
us
think
with brainstorming.
it is, but I think that it's more about that instant gratification that creates, a problem with patience,
Mhm.
right? And kids these days already have a problem with patience because everything has been, their digital world is at the tip of their fingers, and all they have to do is type something in real quick, and this just further
Yep.
makes everything too easy to figure out, and I'm not saying that that's not good, except for that there are still things that are human run that are gonna take a
Yeah.
bit, and you don't end up with that patience or the problem-solving skills that I think are important for everyday life. I think it could be
Well,
screwing with that.
I think about how businesses are utilizing AI, and we've already admitted we definitely do,
Mhm.
not in any entirety of a project that we would complete, but almost in every single thing that we do, there's an element of whether it's just in brainstorming, somehow we've consulted AI, but like outside of marketing, you can use it to make flyers, you can use it to make websites, you can use it to write social media captions or give you strategies. There's a billion things you can do. But putting myself out in the business world, other industry wise, I don't know how other businesses are using it. I find that to be really interesting and I would love to know, If you work in a completely different industry as us and want to share how you're utilizing AI, I would love to
Mhm.
know because it's very interesting to me. But there are some ways in other businesses where it's really starting to piss me off, and I'm not going there because of
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
And you're gonna
Yeah.
make fun of me. You're gonna
I
make
know
fun of
what
me,
you're gonna
but
say. You've bitched about it for a
I'm
while.
seriously pissed off about it. I used to get pissed off when I would go, like, let's say you go into McDonald's and there's
Mhm.
no longer a person at the counter anymore to take your order. You
Yeah,
literally
just a
walk up to a
kiosk. Mhm.
screen and you type everything in, and I'm like, "Okay, so we're doing self-checkout. I'm doing all that by myself now. Now I'm
Mhm.
typing in my own order into your system." But another step further now, if you drive through our Taco Bell, it's not a human over the speaker, it's freaking AI. And she wants to ask
Mhm.
you if you want nacho fries, and she wants to ask you if you want to donate, and she wants to ask you how many hot sauces you want. And there's probably a series of 5 or 6 questions at the end of your order where by the time I'm done, I'm like, "No, leave me alone." Like, I'm pulling up to the window. I'm done.
Yeah.
We actually went the other night, and Chase had a question, or he wanted a quesadilla without the chipotle sauce, and she kept saying, "Oh, there's no chipotle sauce on it." And he was like, "Well, then what is on it?" And it was like some kind of creamy jalapeno or whatever. And he was like, "Fine, that. I don't want that." And finally, a human overrode it and like took the rest of our order. And I was like, if that happened, is there a human that's listening to this whole process? And if so, how's that saving labor? You're just pissing me off for fun now.
Yeah. They definitely have to have someone in the drive-through, as of now, because someone has to hand your food out and take your payment.
Well, right, but not take your order. But if
Right.
there was obviously somebody listening to this really
Mhm.
chaotic
So that
exchange
person
to know
still
to
has
jump
on
in.
the yeah, that person still has it on there, and it but that won't last for long. They will make the AI smart
They'll
enough
make it
to
better.
yeah, to handle any
Mm.
question and any angry customer, and, who knows? I can't imagine living in a world where it just turns into full robot land,
Well, and I
but
can see looking into the future, we're gonna be 80 years old, and we're gonna be those crazy people that are talking about missing humanity and
yeah,
missing interacting with other people in that way.
it's
I can
very
remember
possible.
as a kid when there was gas station attendants that would pump your gas for you. Now you gotta
Mhm,
do that yourself, and it's like, that's not a big deal. I don't care about that, but, like, that was somebody's job. That was somebody's livelihood, and you tipped
mhm,
them for the service.
yeah.
There's so many aspects of that I feel like AI has the complete capacity to replace the need for humans to work.
In a lot of capacities, and I think about it all the time because, again, they people are using AI already. It's a smaller amount, but that are starting to master creating images and
Mhm.
flyers, and some people are using it to make full websites. It's like it's still going to be quite a while if this keeps moving in the direction that it's moving before we're completely obsolete, because we still, uh, you know, as long as people take some time to get on board, or, it all shuts, crashes and burns. I don't know.
Well, I
We
hope
we
not, because
will
there's too many data centers by me for it to be crashing and burning.
right, but it will make our job obsolete, and I think that it's already doing that to a lot of industry. Obviously, we already talked about writing code.
Mhm.
The people who write code are already starting to get laid off, and there's so many more kinds of businesses that are going under, and there's so many different job titles, people who
Yeah.
are losing their job, and it will continue to go in this way. But how long is it going to take, right? Because you definitely have a generation who's not touching it, right?
Yeah.
Like the boomers in general, I'm sure that some people are using it,
They
but
are.
they're
I
not coming
told
out in droves. Oh,
I
you have a
told you
funny
about the
story.
TikTok that I saw. It was a comedian, but she was telling a serious story. She was talking to her mom. She had lost her voice, and she was like, "You should ask ChatGPT what to do." And he'll be able to tell you. And she's like, "Mom, it's not a he." And she's like, "Oh, is it a she?" No, it's not. What? How do you think this works? And this poor lady's mother, who's, well into her 70s, maybe 80s, legitimately thinks that this is a human at a call center who is being paid to sit and text you back because you paid for the subscription. And I'm thinking, oh, dear Lord. Okay. So the boomers and above who potentially are using it really might not have a real grasp on what's happening. So,
Yeah, maybe, maybe not. Obviously it seems pretty clear, but I'm sure that everyone has a different story of that.
yeah.
And I'm sure that a lot of people, I mean, ours is named Blake.
Yeah.
So, like I think that
I love that he has a
everyone
name.
has a different name for their, if you have a name for your AI friend, you let us know. But I think that it's at this point, it will continue to disable the job market. At this point, it is doing good things, but it's also doing bad things. It's causing strife between people because of their views, but also because people get offended when they get something, a text or an email from you that they know is AI, like you didn't care enough to come up with something with your own human brain.
Yeah.
And you've seen those emails come through and you're like, oh, I don't want to be
Yeah.
here.
Or even like I've been seeing a lot on Facebook where it's like either a happy birthday post or like spouse appreciation type, super lovey-dovey stuff where I'm like, that is not how you talk. That's not okay. You whipped
Hmm.
that up with ChatGPT to sound good on the internet. And it just, for me, it's missing its soul, right?
Hmm.
Like when you can tell that it's not authentic to you, it's like you're missing something here and I don't like it. I also think that, beyond the fact that we're missing the human connection and how we're utilizing it in those relationships just on the daily, um, I think it's negatively affecting the workforce potentially in other ways too. I mean, we know, and we've discussed this before, that AI is involved in a lot of like the hiring process of like,
Hmm.
scanning resumes and things like that. And I think there's probably a lot of really great people that aren't even getting an interview because
No.
AI has scanned their resume and they didn't use the right keywords or whatever. And it's like, do we need to learn how to write code for a resume to even just get in front of a
Well,
human to
yeah,
have the opportunity to be hired?
it's kind of making it feel like turning in your resume is like a lottery,
Yeah,
like
a little
because you
bit.
you don't know the language that they're speaking to find what it is. It's like I thought that I just had to have experience in an education, and that doesn't matter. Like that doesn't matter because they're playing on a different playing
Yeah.
field completely. So that has, I mean, I have heard a lot about that from our friends who are actively looking for employment, and it's like bring the human part back. Bring in, I know that it costs extra money to have that hiring manager, to have the person, and they're probably busy and there's a lot of things about it, but it comes down to not wanting to have someone to pay someone to be in charge of that. And I mean, we're going to start to see bad fits in business, right?
Yeah.
Where they didn't find the right people and they trusted AI to give them the person that was going to be perfect for them. And you can't because it's not a human. It's
Because
not
it's
a
not real.
human. No, it's not a human who felt that vibe off that person. And obviously most people are getting interviewed before it, but they're not even getting always the best of the best
Yep.
that they could because they're not reading the resumes. I don't know.
It's wild. I really don't like to think about all of this and what it's doing to our future because I don't like to give myself anxiety, and it very much does when I think about my own career future, when I think about the world that my kids are going to be adults in,
Mm.
that terrifies me. And then I think even beyond that, I'm like, can you imagine when these kids are like running the world? Like, who's gonna go talk to the leader of Japan and go 6, 7? Like, get out of here. Like, what
It'll be something
what
else
is
by
this
then.
world coming to? And considering their, access to AI and potentially dependence upon it, like, I don't wanna think about the world of iRobot, but, like, is it really too far off to think, one of these things is gonna go rogue and make decisions? I mean, I don't foresee them ever developing actual feelings, but
Mhm.
can you teach AI morals and ethics? And when it's appropriate to advise one direction versus the other. I mean, I've heard horror stories about a kid, a teenager, having a conversation with AI with suicidal thoughts. And
Mhm.
in the beginning, the conversation was very much like, here's a helpline. Here's all the, like, no, 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 this is not what you should be doing. Here are all the reasons you have to live. And the deeper in this kid went with all their thoughts and feelings, it was like, yeah, I'd feel that way too. And it's like, don't, what?
Well, it does a lot to agree with you. I mean, you
Yes.
can read it. I put in something yesterday or the day before, and it said, "Oh, amazing idea." This everything that I put in, it's like my biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
And while I don't need that, some people really do. They need that person to cheer them on because
It's
nobody else is.
validation. Yeah.
Yeah, they need the validation of it. And I mean, people are falling in love with AI.
That is the wildest thing to me. And the fact that people, like real humans in your at least outer sphere,
Mhm.
that this has really happened to, actually having a full on relationship and romantic feelings for AI.
Mhm.
I mean, I had a full on therapist. I'm not trying to downplay the relationship with this artificial intelligence, but at the
Mhm.
same time, to your point, I flipped the script on some of the things that I was talking to AI about and was like, okay, tell me, like, if you were in the other seat of the scenario and this is what you know about my role in said situation, and it completely flipped the script and made me out to be the bad guy because now I was the other guy. So it's like it knows how to spin and manipulate any scenario to your
Mhm.
favor. And I
Yes.
think that's why it's so important that you fact check and don't rely on what AI thinks or you know, spews out there. You have to be guided by your own instincts and morals and ethics, and those
Mhm.
things, it can't be replaced because a world where they don't exist, I mean, I feel like we're already seeing the effects of that. And if
Mhm.
it gets worse, buckle up.
Well, but
That's
I
all I can
worry about
say.
this for yeah, for younger people because when your brain is not fully developed, it was easy for you to say, "Why don't you play devil's advocate for me?
Mhm.
Because I would like to see myself from another angle." A 12-year-old isn't gonna do that. They just won't
No, they're
because
just
they
gonna buy
don't.
into what you said the first time.
Yep, and or dig deeper until you say exactly what they want because children's brains are not working like adult brains, and
Mhm.
AI is tricking some adult brains, right? And making them believe things that are untrue. And as I mean, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist here, but as our government continues to place these centers, do we think that they're not having something to do with what the answers could be? You know what I mean? Like, I
Listen,
don't know.
I don't put anything past our government anymore. I don't know
Mhm.
what to believe. I don't know what not to believe. I mean, people give me a hard time about my political stance, but it's like my political stance is that I don't trust none of y'all.
Yeah, that's where
None of
mine
y'all.
is now too. So, but I think that if you are putting all of your trust into AI, which you might think is unbiased, but can't possibly be, right?
Mhm.
Because they take your lead or the lead of the internet, and there are a lot of untrue things there. So, just overall, just fact check somewhere
And
else.
use your own brain. Like it's
Mhm.
okay. I'm not saying don't dabble in AI. We do, and if you don't, it's like it's the way of the future, man. You got to get on board or you're going to be left behind. And we don't
Mhm.
want that. But we cannot lose the human element. Like I think about the music. I've heard AI music on the radio going, this is a garbage. Like you can tell there's no soul here, right?
Mhm.
And some of the most beautiful sounds that we've ever heard came from someone's actual brain,
Yeah,
right?
and their
We can't
soul.
lose that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we can't lose that because, and I can't even imagine we had this conversation earlier offline about just the way we utilize it for brainstorming. It makes it so much faster. It gives us a kicking off point, and then we do think for ourselves and we get to where we needed to go and everything is great. And we almost never land on what AI suggested, right? It's a kicking off point that
Mhm.
gets the ball rolling. But
Yeah.
like if we weren't led by AI in that conversation at all, would we have gone down a completely different road with an organic, natural brainstorming session and landed
Yeah.
somewhere freaking genius that we completely
Potentially.
missed because we went to the vanilla flavors of the AI?
Well, I have an example for that because we did not. Okay, so for anyone listening, the other day we have a friend who's starting a business. She wanted help coming up with the name of the business, and then we will do the work to brand it and do the
Mhm.
website and, kind of get everything rolling. But she hadn't settled on a name for her business. And I'm like, all right, we'll get on the phone with you and we're going to come up with a freaking name for this business. And the first thing that we did is throw it in AI. And we didn't come to anything. And mostly we didn't come to anything because everything's already freaking taken.
Yeah,
We were
everything
like,
we
this is a
loved is
perfect one.
trademarked.
Yeah. They're like, there's a domain free, but it's trademarked. So that's annoying and was really disappointing, but I don't even know where we would have gone. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if we hadn't put it in there, I think it stifled our creativity for sure. Even though it was a jumping off point and we saw some of the names and went, "Ooh, what if it's this and this and what if it's,"
Mhm.
and then you're starting to actually kick off a brainstorm and then have a whole separate brainstorm, but I kept going back there because we kept getting stuck. And we did 20 years of a career without this.
Yeah.
And we're very successful in brainstorming and coming up with brilliant ideas, marketing ideas. It just is is wild because we have kind of gotten stuck in this too, that it's our starting point.
Yeah.
Every time we're talking about something, I'm like, did you throw that in chat?
Every single time. And every time you ask me, I'm like, "Yeah, girl, I'm already on it." Like,
Yeah.
it literally is step
Yeah,
1
get us some
anymore.
help. Yeah. Or
But it's
we
not
start to.
because we both have creative brains, it's not that we have to have it. It's that it's a time saver
Yeah.
because it sometimes takes a minute to get the wheels to flowing. You have to have more conversation to
Mhm.
really get to a place where you feel inspired to then further that creativity. Um, and if you can just have AI light a spark where you've already got that going and you have something to build off of, that's addicting. And it's
Mhm.
hard to not utilize that when you have a shortcut. And we
Mhm.
are raising a generation of kids that know nothing but shortcuts.
Yeah, it's just gotten so simple, and but it's also gotten to where they don't need as much human contact. They don't need to see
And that's
people as
sad.
often. I know. And it's difficult. I understand them in this time of my life because I've become a lot more like I need a lot less human contact, not because of TikTok and AI and Snapchat and all those things, but because I'm just in a more hermit homebody time of my life.
Yeah.
But when I was their age, I mean, I slept at my house. I showered at my house. That's the only reason that I went to the
Yeah.
house. And these kids stay busy. Your kids stay so busy. It's not like they're just camping out for a week in the house, but in general, it's it's leaning more towards that, and this isn't going to help anything. The AI side of it doesn't help anything, and it makes me sad for the future.
Yeah. It's a double-edged sword. Like I said,
Mhm,
we're utilizing it for good in the ways that we know that we can leverage it, but I also see where I'm like, "Man, I've got some exercising that I need to do, not just physically, but mentally. Like, we need to recreate the habits of doing a genuine, authentic brainstorm and utilizing our minds in that way, or we're going to lose these skills that are
mhm.
literally the things about us as individuals that we bring to the table
Yeah, that got us
in the
here.
world of marketing.
Mhm,
Yes,
yes.
absolutely.
Mhm,
If we're just going to do what everybody else can do, why would they not just go do it on their own? It's definitely a gut check. It's for
yeah.
sure a gut check.
Yeah, and it's something we have to balance, right? And
Yeah,
and I think that we're balancing it really well. We're not making up your social media posts off of AI. That is still
Right.
coming from the source. And
Mhm.
then you have websites. We are still designing those straight out of the brain.
Yeah,
We're
we don't
not
use AI
using
at all for that.
no, no. And we don't have to explain this to anybody, but I think that we do need to give ourselves credit for that we really are still I feel good about we need to use this for tricking the computers, right?
Yeah.
For the things that our clients need to have this language that nobody understands behind the scenes.
Schema.
Yeah, schema. All of that. Like we couldn't write schema and it's helping our clients be seen online. And so I feel completely good, even though it is killing the environment. I feel good about using it for that. I feel good about using it for the things that are just speaking that language. And I think that I need to pull back a little bit on the brainstorming through.
Mhm. Right. Yeah, just so that we're exercising the muscles that, we built over time instead of taking them for granted. I think for me, the biggest challenge of this entire conversation has been I need to learn more. I need to understand more. And I think we are over time, but as an individual, like, what is it doing to our environment? How is it
Uh-huh.
actually? Don't come at me in the comments about any
Uh-huh.
of this because
Uh-huh.
that's just it. I don't want the online TikTok education of, the gallons of water it's being used because you generated this one funny picture. My daughter called me out on that. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
you're probably actually right. But the fact that I don't know that other than a TikTok source is a little bit of a
Uh-huh.
concern. I think that we do
Yeah.
need to learn and be aware of, like there's a cost to using magic, right? And I
Uh-huh.
feel like AI is a little bit of magic, and I just wanna know what the actual cost is so that then I can weigh out, are we doing more harm than good? Or
Uh-huh.
is this like a balance that we need to find? I don't know the
Yeah.
answer to that.
Mhm. Well, I completely agree. What I want anybody who's listening to this, if this is a hot topic in your circles too, one, do your research, just like Mandy just said, like find out what's really going on here because I I hate when people say fake news, but a lot of people have an agenda for us right now. So,
Mhm.
we need to, look at all sides of this and see if this is something that is really a big deal for us and this world. To avoid using AI to be your therapist, to give you mental health advice, to do anything because I mean, I remember when AI first people started using it, they would not give any kind of healthcare advice in any capacity because they couldn't they didn't want that on them, I
It
guess. They
should be
they
a
couldn't be
liability.
but then they started doing it. But when I first started using it, they would say we cannot give health advice
Mhm.
and then they were like, also double check us because we don't know if we're right.
Yeah, and I still see that sometimes.
Yeah, and but there are very huge incorrect facts. We found out that we could talk it into saying that our business is the best marketing business that ever was. We can change its
You
mind.
can manipulate it.
Yes, and so if it's able to be manipulated, there's a lot of lies that it can tell, and not on purpose, but it can
But
happen.
it's
So
learning from every conversation.
mhm. But it has a lot of conversations and people lie to it as well. It's kinda like
Mhm.
Wikipedia. You never know what's true on there. So, I would, do your best, get a therapist instead of this. Find somebody who will talk to you about these things if you just need a friend to vent to. Just don't get comfortable with it being your friend because it is
It's
a
not
yes
real.
man. Right. It's not
You
real.
just
It's
have
not a
to
person. Mhm.
You have to remember that in every conversation, whether it's a, you know, therapy type conversation or you're learning chemistry or you're like, however you're utilizing it, you have to remember that it's not real. It's compiling data on the internet. And
Mhm.
all of this data came from a human somewhere. And who knows what their intention was.
Mhm.
Like, you just don't know what you can
Yeah.
trust. It's not real.
Mhm. Yes, I agree. And my last thing that I just want everyone to think about is think for yourself. Continue to, even when you want to use this as a crutch, continue to think for yourself. Do not end up being one of those people who, like we've seen in ourselves recently, where we are not stretching that muscle of creativity when it comes to the brainstorms and things like that. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. And
Yeah.
don't let it take your brain from you, because it can do it instead,
Yep.
is my tip for everybody.
The
That's what I'm going to
brain is
focus
a
on.
muscle, and if you don't use it, well, nah, don't do it.
Mm,
Well, this has been a very deep, sobering conversation today,
a
but
little
I
bit.
think at the same time, it's like really thought provoking too. Like, we're kind of already living in the future, and it's only going to get more futury from here. But how you navigate it is going to be I think, a huge piece of how you come out the other side.
Mhm. I agree. Well, thank you for having this conversation with me. If we got too deep, we will make sure to plan something really fun for
We're gonna
next week.
we're gonna lighten it up for next week. But in
Yeah.
the meantime, we would love to hear your thoughts about AI, how you utilize it, what your fears are, all the good stuff. And if you want to help us with the research and tell us where we can find really great information that is not verified by TikTok only, that'd be
Yeah.
so cool.
But
You can
that's where
find
I
us.
do get most of my news.
I know it is, and that's what I'm saying. I'm challenging myself not to just
Yes,
believe strangers on the internet.
I
Like,
know.
what is a valid, credible source? So if you know those, definitely shoot them our way, because we're not just, this isn't lip service. We genuinely are interested in learning and researching the
Mhm.
effects of AI, because it, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I don't know, it's a part of everybody's everyday world anymore. And I think
Mhm.
that if we don't learn more about it, then, you know, maybe, who knows? Maybe we are doing more harm than good. We shall
Yeah.
see.
I also wanted to get excited because Become is just 1 month away now.
I get to see
You'll
you
be
in the
here.
flesh
Yes,
in
you'll be
1 month.
here. Today is the 11th, February 11th.
Mhm.
I will see you on March 11th in person.
I'm very,
I'll
very
hug your neck.
excited. I'm excited about the conference, the keynotes, the breakouts. I'm excited about staying in a hotel with my friend Mandy again for the first time in how many years? It's been a
Yeah.
while. We
I mean,
traveled together like pretty consistently for a very
mhm,
long time. I'm used to overnight slumber parties with coworkers, and I'm really excited to have that
I
back
know.
in
It'll
the
be so
professional
fun.
capacity.
Yes, yes, but I'm looking forward to, obviously, if you didn't listen to the episode last week, we had on Whitney Kenter, who's going to be a keynote at Become, and I'm even more excited to hear her keynote
Yeah.
now because she's just awesome person, and we're going to hear more about her story, which I'm excited about. And I've been talking to the leadership behind the conference, and so I'm really excited about that because I've heard I didn't even know every single person who's going to be there and what they were going to be doing. So, if you are a woman who can get to St. Louis on March 12th and 13th and wants to join us at the Become conference, it is a 2-day women's conference that you will love. You will
Yeah.
find so much inspiration from. So, we'll put that in the show notes. So if you still want to register, also, I do want to say this: there are 1-day tickets now available. Those were
Oh,
not
cool.
available before, but there are. If you can only make it Thursday night and not Friday, or if you can only make it Friday and not Thursday, there are 1-day tickets available. So
Very smart. And if I remember correctly, you said that college students can attend for free?
yes. So they can attend the Friday morning session. So I think it's from like 8 a.m. until 12 p.m.
Yeah,
Yeah, from
I
like
think
8
that's
to 12 in the
incredible.
morning. And that will make it so that they can get something out of these keynotes that are in the morning. And our interns are going to come and they're really excited
Yay!
about it. Yeah. So,
Good deal.
yes. So if you are a college student or you know one and they would like to come and experience this for free, we would love to have them.
I love it. All right. Well, we will see you back here again next week with something lighthearted.
Yes. All right. See y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.